Good evening, guys. I just have some things on my mind right now. As you can tell, I'm a thinker, not necessarily a doer, but when it comes to things, I tend to do things. Anyways, one of the biggest things that has been on my mind since I'm going back to school to become a pastor is, you know what, when you go into ministry full time, you're not going to be making a whole lot of money. And that's not why we go. We feel called to go into ministry because we feel that God has a calling on our life. He has a mission, He has a will, He has a purpose for our life. And for those of us who have been called into ministry, although it's tough, we know that we cannot live on bread alone, that we gotta make money. So we had to look at other things in order to supplement our money. And one of the things that I was suggested from one of my teachers or pastors, whatever you want to call them, is that if you were to get a second job, because I'm thinking about being a bivocational minister or a bivocational pastor, he says that you would want to get a job that isn't time consuming. So right now I'm a full-time, not really full-time, but temporary employee working for Walmart. I work in their OGP department, and what that is like whenever you go online to walmart.com and you want to order groceries and basically pick them up, I'm the guy that either shops for your groceries, I get them organized, or I am the guy that's responsible for going out and delivering them to you in your car. So I've already accepted the fact that, hey, I'm going to be a bivocational pastor, and I think that's good because a job, from what one of my pastors tells me, a job supplements the call. You may not be able to get health insurance through your church. If you're joining an existing church or you're planning a church, you need something to make money because you're relying on other people's generosity to help pay your bills. And even though that is good and that's appreciative because people, they believe in you, they believe in your ministry, they believe in everything that you set out to do, you can't always rely on that. So sometimes you gotta go out and do it. So one of the things my pastor teachers recommends is getting a second job that's not as stressful. Now, the reason why I work at Walmart is because for a majority of my life I've worked in retail. And that's what I know, that's what I'm good at. And the only thing I claim to know, other than nothing, is that I am a hard worker. And I think it's important for us, if we are going to become bivocational pastors or ministers, that we find some way to build relationships with people within the community. And I think that is a great way for us to do it. We need to be out in the open, and we need to be able to talk to people. This is what we call the mission or the harvest, because that's where we see people. You don't necessarily see people, brand new people anyway, that don't know God in church. So you had to go outside of church in order to do that. And I think one of the other reasons why I feel comfortable being a bivocational minister is because I don't want to get solely burnt out by ministry. Because believe it or not, when you work in ministry, you're burned out. Take, for example, one of my good friends and former pastors, D. This dude has been leading churches for about 15 years. For 10 of those years, he spent planting churches. And he recently decided to resign from the church that he and his college classmates planted about 5 years ago, okay? But take, for example, this guy. He didn't ease into ministry because he's always been that dude. Let's do it now. Let's go into it. Let's do it full force. I think there's a right way to approach ministry and a wrong way. I'm not saying what he did was wrong. Because if I know anything about that dude, is he was a hard worker. I just think he took on too much too soon. And remember, you're only one person. You can't be all things to all people. You could try, but you're going to fail. And I think that's where he failed. And I know it's probably not comfortable for him to even admit that, but God bless him for what he's done. He doesn't even know the amount of people that he saved, with the amount of good that he's done. I mean, I'm thankful for him. I love him. I miss him. And I hope and pray for the best for him. But when I think about bivocational ministry, there's not really a whole lot that comes to my mind other than working in retail. I might have a job opportunity working for a juvenile delinquency program as a youth services worker. And I think that would be useful because it's a need. You're not necessarily in an environment that doesn't, that hinders people's, like, mindsets. Like, I used to work in the casino business, and that hindered people's minds because people are addicted. Not all people that went to a casino are addicted, but their minds are changed, they're altered. Because they're either on drugs, whether alcohol, marijuana, anything like that. They're addicted to gambling. They're there for escaping problems and whatnot. Like, that's a bad place. But with the place that I interviewed for, I see a lot of potential there because it's a mission, it's a harvest. I believe it was, Matthew 9:23. It says, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. There's a lot to be done, but not a whole lot of people want to work. I don't mind working. Right now I'm working probably 50 plus hours and then going to school. Grant, I'm only taking 2 classes. That's as much as I can handle because, dude, think about this. When you go into Bible school or Bible college, you have all these thoughts, expectations, and whatnot, and then they totally get torn down because it's not what you anticipated. I thought when you went to Bible college, and this is how naive and ignorant I was, or have become, I thought all you needed was a Bible. Like, nope. Because in order to help you understand the Bible, you can't just read it and you can't just talk to other people that know it. You had to read other books to help you understand it. And these books are written by people who have read the Bible repeatedly and have actually dissected it and taken out and done proper research on a lot of the different aspects of the Bible. So yeah. I've learned a lot so far in the past 2 months, and I hope and pray that I learn more. Looking forward to seeing what else I can learn. But my goal right now, I guess, is to earn full-time by the end of the year with Walmart and to move closer to school, which will be back in my hometown in Des Moines. That's what my plan is. God's plans are far better than mine, so if something happens before that time or after that time, it's whatever He wants, and that's what I'm here to do. I just kind of want to know your thoughts and feelings on bivocational ministry. If you guys knew of anything or would suggest it, let me know or let other people know. I think it's important to be a part of a community that helps each other out. thank you for all that you do, and God bless.